Hey there, friends. I wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk with you about Sheena Witter. I have known her for about 6 years now, and of that time have worked with her off and on pretty consistently for the past 4 years. She's both been an Akashic record guide and a business development coach, and has shown up for me in many ways that I feel really fortunate to have been able to and continue to work with her. Recently I did a focusing session. I got to a point where I was feeling just really stuck with where I was going, and I knew that I needed her to dig in. I wasn't sure if it was something that I would need some Akashic record support or what was best, so I kind of had an initial call with her and outlined what I'd been struggling with, and we took some time, and she said, I think we need to do a focusing session. So I was like, okay, what does that mean? And she said, you're gonna be relaxed, and we're gonna go kind of into this really deep meditative state and kind of dig out and figure out what has you stuck. And I went into kind of like my own like personal resistance kind of feeling of like, oh, will I block her efforts to try and help me, or is there something I'm not willing to see? Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. Like my whole internal dialogue, which is pretty messy, as you can probably tell. And that seems to be like a repeat theme for me, that like I'm going to block myself and telling myself stories of that nature. But when it got time for the session, she was able to help me to really relax, and I allowed myself to go to a place where we were able to dive in and really just kind of figure out what was going on with my throat chakra, because I was having like this post-nasal drip and swallowing, like really feeling like something was stuck in my throat. And she was able to help me to target the emotions and go back to a story where it may have began, and a lot of kind of repressed emotions, but then we kind of went below that. Who was there? What was going on? Where was my inner child at that time? And before this I probably would have been like, maybe we'll be able to touch on, maybe not. But she was able to really help me to relax into a place where whatever showed up was what needed to show up, to peel away the layers, because this healing process is really multifaceted, multi-layered. We're never going to do a one and done session when you're committed to a healing path. And it's just really brought me a lot more insights to the emotions that I'd repressed, and many other memories that I thought I wouldn't be able to access. Following that session, I was able to have conversations with family members and just kind of dig around in those memories in a very safe way, to know that I touched on the places that were hurting as an inner child, and that I could address it from a place of not just anxiety and fear, but like, hey, do you remember that time, or do you remember that time period at all? And kind of speak with my brother. Oh yeah, I remember when we were kids and we were playing, and whatever happened, that we were walking on this path, and he was like, oh, I kind of remember that, and here I was too young, and I don't know. But it was just a really safe way of addressing it. And then I just kind of noticed that the physical symptoms have reduced a little bit, but every time I start to feel myself with like that post-nasal drip, which to me as a healer is some level of internal crying, I'm like, okay, little Sarah, who or what are you crying for? What is not being acknowledged? And I think that like Sheena was really instrumental in helping me to dive into some of those feelings and the symptoms. And, just to feel like I'm on the next level, on the precipice of the next level of unfoldment, and that she was able to hold me through that stage. And I'm so thrilled and excited that I can turn back to her again and again and say, hey, I'm at a place where I think I need your help. And to know that she's going to show up without judgment, very loving, and just guide me with her divine wisdom of how to step into this and to access the next stage of my own personal development. So I am eternally grateful. Thank you, Sheena. And I hope that whoever would question if, this is right for you to step into a path with Sheena's guidance, to know that she's 100% qualified and wonderful. Thank you so much.